How you doing, guys, on this Friday, September 30th, 2021? Thank you for joining me here tonight for another metallic episode of Music of Destruction, bringing you guys the very best in metal-related content right here on YouTube on one of the only metal channels you guys will ever need. If you missed anything in the past week, click that eye in the upper right corner. Should be popping up. Everything you need is up there. Go get caught up on all the latest videos. I'd really appreciate it. If you want me to cover anything, make suggestions in the comment section below. Slam, deathcore, metalcore, modern, tech death are not accepted. If you want me to do historical videos on bands, genres, or paying tribute to bands, I do that in my podcast. So subscribe to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Music of Destruction. You will find many podcasts where I've covered genres and bands extensively. That's where you can find that type of content, because to do videos like that for this channel would result in like 50 or 60 minute videos, and I'm not going to do that. I'd like to try to keep my videos under 20 minutes, usually under 15 if I can. You're looking at one of the hardest working metal channels on the platform. Subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and select all notifications. No one's going to give it to you as brutally honest as I do. I don't cater to anybody because I don't fucking have to. This is pure, brutal honesty here on Music of Destruction. Welcome to Metal Album Warfare Fridays here on the channel, and as always, we're going deep beneath the earth with two amazing German death metal titans, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, folks, tonight we have Kaapora Distainer versus Incremate's Prospect of Death. Now, both of these albums, this one was released in 2012, I believe this one's 2016, 2017. Both amazing bands and are among the best in the modern German death metal scene. Now, they both pay homage to the OSDM pioneers of their European cousins and even have some influence from their counterparts across the pond in Florida and New York in some ways. Both of these albums are incredible, and if you can pick them up, I highly recommend either of them to any death metal freaks out there, much like myself. Alright, so let's get into it, shall we? First up, we have Kaapora, They Lie versus Incremate, Slay Your Woman, Stab Your Child. Amazing. Both of these tracks, so heavy, visceral, and violent and aggressive. Kaapora's They Lie is a little bit faster in pace in some areas than Incremate, but both have a very strong groove and melody to them as well, and I don't mean melody in the traditional pussy sense. But very similar tracks. Both of these albums are similar, that's why I picked them both. And these tracks are amazing, they're both getting a point. Next up, Kaapora, Neurostentico versus Incremate, Moments of Scorn. And you know what? Neurostentico is one of the fastest tracks I've ever heard from Kaapora. And it's definitely memorable. It's powerful, visceral, hard-hitting, and aggressive and raw in its emotional delivery and complex instrumentation. But so is Moments of Scorn from Incremate. It's got an older school death metal sound, not quite as modern sounding as Kaapora, but definitely Kaapora has that OSDM sound as well, so I'm giving a point to both there as well. Next up, Kaapora, Forget versus Incremate, Impressed by Suffering. Incredible tracks, okay? It's really hard to weigh one against the other because both these albums, like I said, I picked them for a reason, but Forget, fast, heavy, aggressive, raw, diabolical, and emotional, as is Incremate's Impressed by Suffering. Very violent, visceral death metal from both of these tracks. Amazing stuff, both getting a point. Next up, Kaapora, Existence and Sickness versus Incremate, Corpse Collector. And I mean, the name says it all, right? Very sick, vile, pus-filled death metal tracks. Kaapora's production is a little bit cleaner, not much. Still got some dirt in there, as does Incremate's Corpse Collector. Very incredible songs back to back. You can play them one after another. You'll know what I'm talking about. I really appreciate the instrumentation on both these tracks. They're both getting a point there as well. Next up, Kaapora, Servi Contente Non Sunt. I tried to translate that from German. I don't know what it means. Versus Incremate, Split the Skull. Amazing, blistering death metal on both parts. A little bit more of a Morbid Angel influence on the Incremate side of the spectrum, whereas Kaapora's got a bit more of a European death metal sound, a little bit more of a modern death metal sound. But again, these are amazing bands, and you can't go wrong. Both bands getting a point here as well. Next up, Kaapora, The Day I Left the Dust versus Incremate's Deformed Bones. And you know what? Two of the fastest songs on the record, two of the heaviest. Both very memorable, and I love both these tracks equally. I appreciate what they were doing on both of these albums. Kaapora's The Day I Left the Dust has a little bit more of a grindcore edge to it, but still very heavy, brutal death metal as is. Incremate's Deformed Bones, but a definite old school approach without that grindcore. So yeah, both getting a point there as well. Amazing stuff from both these bands, man. I'm telling you, these albums are fucking killer. Next up, Kaapora Dogma's Cage versus Incremate's Appreciative Kill. Both getting a point here as well. Dogma's Cage, very fast, aggressive, visceral death metal. There's some great solo work on Kaapora's side of this of things, but same with Incremate's Appreciative Kill. Incredible, memorable riffs from both of these bands, and I love both these tracks equally, both getting a point as well. Next up, Kaapora Opinion Maker versus Incremate's Anger Forms Humility, and you know what? Two of the most brutal tracks on both albums, but you could say that about everything on these records. The Opinion Maker's a lot faster than Anger Forms Humility in ways, but again, they have a slower pace tempo, mid track on Opinion Maker, and Anger Forms Humility, same thing there. Finally, Kaapora Awaking the Dead versus Incremate for Dominance, and again, amazing. Both getting a point. Brutal, aggressive, raw, powerful, hard-hitting, emotional, compelling death metal from both of these bands, both of these tracks. So fucking awesome, and I cannot get enough of these two fucking albums. I mean, I'm doing full in-depth reviews of them. This is just the Metal Album Warfares, and yeah, this is both of these bands I highly recommend. You can still find these, so just go out and look for them. Not hard to find. I'll put links in the description where you could possibly pick them up. I think I know where you guys will be able to find them. But yeah, let's set up the scores. Distainer coming in with 9 points, and of course, Prospect of Death, 9 points. Now keep in mind that Distainer has 2 additional tracks, but I did 9 versus 9 because they're both so fucking awesome. And they have that German death metal, that European death metal sound that we've all come to know and love. But again, this one's got a bit more of a grindcore edge, and this is just a bit more of a straight up OSDM edge. But again, old school bands, 100% paying homage to their forefathers, and you cannot go wrong with either Kaapora or Incremate, so make sure you get out there and pick those up. Still old school sounding as fuck, and thus sick record with Distainer and Prospect of Death from Incremate, same thing. Hail the fucking underground, guys. I mean, pick them up. You cannot go wrong. If you love old school death metal, what are you waiting for? You know, buy these fucking records. So there you have it, another album, Metal Album Warfare in the books here on Music of Destruction. Hope you enjoyed the premiere. If you're new, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. It's free to do so. Do that now. Teespring.com/music-of-destruction. There's merch on there. Awesome stuff. Bonfire store is up as well. Bonfire.com/store/music-of-destruction. Yeah, pick up some merch there. I'm putting out some new designs. A girlfriend and I are working on some more great merch. Helps the channel out. Patreon also, like I mentioned before, if you want to get access to extensive bands, history of bands, and histories of genres, that's where to find videos and podcasts like that. Actually, podcasts. The Seed, episode 34, the history of the Les Legions Noir. People ask me to cover that. I have done so in depth. Patreon.com/music-of-destruction. Pick the $5 tier. One pledge, $5 a month, you get access to videos like people have been requesting. I've had some people ask me to cover Celtic Frost, bands like that and stuff. So yeah, go check it out. You can't go wrong. Thank you very much for your support. Keeps this channel going, as well as Beyond the Big Screen Movie and Game Review 1979. Our Alien review from 1979 is coming up soon. We're finishing it up this week. It's taken a lot of work, man. Colton has a very different writing style than I do, and he has a bit more of a harder time articulating himself. He's new to it. Be patient. Head on over to Beyond the Big Screen and hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell there as well. We are going to get that out as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you for Metal Album Warfare Fridays in 1 hour. No, the Crypt Underground Metal Radio Show in 1 hour. All right, guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.